was drafted by the Army, and when I went to Whitehall Street, they said, we need Marines today. Out of you 90 men, we're going to pick 20 of you people as Marines. On the same day I was drafted, I had friends of mine from high school, as well as a buddy that I hung out with, also down with me, and we all decided we're going into the Marines that day. And my close buddy, he was one that didn't come home from Vietnam. We all wound up going to Vietnam, and he didn't come home. Parris Island did a good job, you know. We were gung-ho. We were what they call piss and vinegar in our veins, and we were trained and brainwashed to be the greatest, and we really believed it. And they sent us over to Vietnam, and at the time, this is 1966, our government sent us, and we went, and we were told we were supposed to protect their democracy there because they were going into communism. Unfortunately, when we got there, I realized that the country was for us and against us in a sense. They really weren't by our side, and I had a feeling it was going to be dragged out as long as it was. And combat for anybody even war itself is a traumatic experience, and it stays with you forever. And even when you come home, you feel the guilt of surviving such a traumatic experience. It's beastly brutality. I think how I coped with my PTSD was not only shrugging it off, but keeping myself so occupied and distracted. I would do things in a community. I was a volunteer fireman, which I still am for 40 years. I was commander of my American Legion post. And be a commander, you have to go up the line. I mean, this is quite a bit, and there's a lot of detail with that. And I'm also the past commander of my local VFW chapter, again going up the line. We had 2 girls. I couldn't be a Boy Scout leader, so we became Girl Scout leaders. I think I just totally consumed at the same time trying to keep a household, painting the house, or putting this down, and repairing that. It was a constant busy where I was too exhausted to really come face to face.
The class that we're teaching right now is a class for veterans, and the dogs that got matched are Marshal and Augie, and they have been specifically trained to help mitigate the symptoms of post-traumatic stress for the veterans. A lot goes into our matches. It's a very lengthy application process for any of our clients to go through the process, and so we get a whole bunch of information based on their lifestyles, their home environment, the places they want to be taking the service dogs, the types of environments, whether it's work or flying on airplanes, traveling with transportation. All of that gets considered based on the type of dog we're going to match them with. The dogs, when they are with their puppy raisers, they are learning so much about the world. I can train dogs to do all the commands that we need the dogs to do, so I can teach them to sit and down and walk nicely on a leash.
Sure enough, the next appointment we had for Northport, VA, where I go to, there was a veteran named Benny, who was walking his dog with this vest on, and my wife went running over to him and asked him about his dog, and could she pet him, and was he working, and he said fine, and we had a nice conversation, and he said there's a beautiful place here in Medford, and that he says, you live in Long Island, you're only 40 miles away. He says you can choose to live there for 2 weeks or commute. We used to have a saying in the service, I got your back, I got your 6. And I feel with somebody like him, he has my back and my 6. He's going to keep me safe and secure. And I think if there's anything going on, he'll warn me about it. And I feel that, and I know I can feel the endorphins, when I pet him or stroke him. I feel that he's giving me love, and it's unconditional love that just keeps on giving. And that's what this guy's about.